Councilmember Pratt.
Here.
Councilmember Dowling.
Here.
Councilmember Alinsky.
Here.
Councilmember Harrogi.
Here.
Councilmember Garrison.
Present.
Vice Mayor Piper.
Here.
Mayor Jones.
Here. And we have Keith Vogler with us tonight, who is going to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Let's see, who's going to, Kyla's not here tonight. So if you would please come up, and on behalf of my colleagues on the City Council, we would like to give you this certificate or citizenship of volunteering in the community. Thank you.
There we go.
So there's.
Oh, you want me just to hang on to this?
How you can
Focus.
That's the electronic too, so it's
Got it. Okay.
The next item is a brief summary of current events by the mayor, city council, and/or city manager. The public body does not propose, discuss, deliberate, or take legal action on any matter that's not properly noticed for legal action. Mr. Bartosh.
Madam Mayor, council members, just a couple of quick announcements. Last weekend we held our annual Mickelson Marathon, had about 600 participants in that, receiving positive feedback from some of the runners about the event. This next weekend is the Fallen Heroes Golf Tournament to support the 100 Club that supports our first responders when they're injured or killed in the line of duty. And you can contact the police department or fire department if you have an interest in getting a team out to play golf. It's really a nice event. And we also on Saturday have the citywide cleanup, where we'll be encouraging people to clean up their yards and their surrounding areas, and you can bring all the trash to the city transfer station and dump it for free. That's it, Madam Mayor.
All right. Council, Mr. Pratt?
Yeah, I just want to piggyback on what the city manager said about the marathon and the 10K and half marathon. One of the things that was obvious to me was what a great city this is, how many civilians volunteered. We had people from every department down there helping to make this a success. In fact, when I got there about 5 o'clock, Chief Kirkendall was already directing traffic. He did let me through. But it really was obvious that everybody invests in these kind of events, and the city works together so well with each other. It's just great to see.
Thank you for that report. Anybody else? Okay, for my report, we, staff and I went down to a WIFA board meeting on the 15th, and our bonds have been approved. And I don't know if you want to add anything more to that?
Well, I think the most important part is that it pays off our 2004 bonds that we used to purchase 3 water companies, and it lowers the interest rate, so our ratepayers will save probably close to about $1.5 million in the term of the loan. So it was a good investment.
We were quite pleased. And let's see. There was a chamber mixer on the 16th, Vice Mayor. Any Any comments on that?
I won tickets to the Diamondbacks game.
Oh, wow.
That
That
the
was
highlight
a
of my
special
night.
mixer, right?
It was at the American Legion, and they really brought out the food, and it was a lot of fun.
Great. And then on Friday, I traveled down, Kyla Allen and I traveled down to watch Doug receive an award from his work with What You Do Matters. And the name of the award was the
Guardians of Freedom Award.
Guardians of Freedom Award. And if council recalls, I think Councilmember Garrison was brand new on the council when we went over to Prescott to watch that awards ceremony, and the city of Cottonwood was complimented highly for our work and our support of What You Do Matters. And What You Do Matters is, it teaches about the Holocaust, and it started with how the police were in Germany and they were protecting the people. And then all of a sudden there was this slippery slope, and they ended up working with Hitler, and they were in the group that was annihilating and killing Jewish people, disabled people, and so on. So what this class does is that it teaches, city manager has gone out along with Sheila Polk, who is the county attorney, and they started with judges and prosecutors, starting to teach them about the process and what happened. And then after they receive this training, the whole thing that they come to is that the police are there to protect our constitutional rights. And this is the training that people in Yavapai County that serve the public in these positions have received. And our city manager has been one of the 2 people that has gone out and done all of this training, which has been really beneficial. Is there anything you want to add to that? Because you certainly know the program a lot better than I do.
Yeah, essentially, it's the intention is to impress upon police officers in particular how important they are to our democracy, and that their role really is to protect people's rights, not to infringe upon them, and that's the key. And again, when you look at Nazi Germany, the officers started out as neutral professionals who investigated crimes against Jews, and eventually bought into the propaganda to the point of actually participating in mass genocide. And so it's a slippery slope that can lead to terrible consequences. But I think the most touching part of the Guardians of Freedom Award is we came up with that term from a Holocaust survivor, Gerda Weizmann-Klein, who survived about 3 years of different labor camps, and eventually was saved by an American military person who they fell in love, and he brought her back here, and she's worked to keep the memory of the Holocaust survive. But when she presented to judges and law enforcement and police officers, her comment to them was, "Thank you. You are the keepers of my freedom." And, she's not a legal scholar, but she certainly recognizes the importance of our criminal justice system in this country in protecting people's rights.
And Sheila and the city manager have been training all kinds of people to take their place, so that this training can hopefully, I would love to see it go all over the nation. It would really be great. But some people that are taking the class were really amazing people. They're from the Maricopa and Pima County attorney's offices, and really some amazing people that I guess they'll be tested, and they really have to do a lot to become a trainer for this. But that should lessen up Doug's load a little bit and Sheila's load. It's been a lot of hard work for them. But I just wanted to let the council know that the city of Cottonwood was mentioned numerous times about how we were the only city in the nation that is promoting this training, and they were just so grateful to our council because we approved it unanimously when we said go and do this work. So our little town has made a huge difference. And, you know, I even think it made a difference in the incident at Walmart, you know, the training. So anyway, that was really exciting, and please put that on the agenda so we can see your award, and that would be great. Okay, so then also J.J. Silva's memorial service, Vice Mayor was there, was held on Sunday at the Public Safety Building, and J.J. was a really wonderful person who spent a lot of time volunteering in the city, and he took care of the mobile command center, and we learned how fastidious he was and how he really kept that clean, and he will definitely be missed. And then George Gaylord, our former planning and zoning director, invited me to see him play at the Burning Tree Cellars on Sunday, so I stopped in and watched his band. They were actually just playing, I think, free gratis, trying to get the public to come on down and enjoy a glass of wine. And then I went to see the play Esther in Sedona, and the Vice Mayor and former council member Linda Norman were there. And our very own Rudy Rodriguez and his family were stars in this musical. And then I was invited to a graduation party for Heidi DiGiovanni, which was very nice too. She graduated from college. She's in her 30s, and she just kept at it until she made the goal. And it looks like that is about all that I have to report. The next item is proclamations. And we have Jeff Peters and Lizzie and Lauren Dickens here to accept the proclamation as Motorcycle Awareness Month. And would you like to say a few words about, come on up to the podium, lectern, whatever we call it.
Hi, my name's Jeff Peters. I'm Assistant District Manager for MMA, Modified Motorcycle Association. We like to teach safety and motorcycle awareness to the general public. We also lobby to the government for certain rules that we feel aren't quite up to par for motorcyclists. We'd just like to ask for May to be Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month. That's our biggest issue right now. We do a lot for the town of Cottonwood. We raise money for child funds, toy drives, certain other deals that we do throughout Cottonwood. And we'd just like to hope that you would vote in May to be Motorcycle Awareness Month.
Thank you very much. And we do have a presentation from Bikers Against Child Abuse, or BACA. A couple more items down the agenda, and we hope that you all here who ride motorcycles can stay for that. All right, great. So the proclamation is Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month. Whereas motorcycle riding is a popular form of transportation from daily commutes to recreation for the residents of Cottonwood, Verde Valley, and Arizona, and whereas the safe operation of a motorcycle requires the use of special skills developed through a combination of training and experience, the use of good judgment, and thorough knowledge of traffic laws. And whereas it is especially important that the residents of Cottonwood and the Verde Valley be aware of motorcycles on the streets and highways and recognize the importance of motorcycle safety and the importance of sharing the roadway, and to honor the many contributions motorcyclists make to our community. And whereas all residents are being encouraged to safely share the roadways throughout Verde Valley and to always look twice for motorcycles. Now therefore, I, Diane Jones, Mayor of the City of Cottonwood, do hereby proclaim May 2015 as Motorcycle Safety Awareness Month in the City of Cottonwood, and encourage all residents and visitors to join in this observance. So if we could have you all come down to receive the proclamation. So on behalf of the City Council and our staff, our city manager also rides motorcycles, and I'd just like to present this to you and declare May 2015 as Motorcycle Month.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You're
And
welcome.
I would like to add, thank the city of Cottonwood for putting up the capital motorcycle signs.
You're welcome.
Bravo.
Thank you. The next item is proclaiming the first week in May as ELKS National Youth Week. And we have Janet Luer here tonight, and I think we have Sari McQuality also. And would you like to share a little bit of information about your tremendous work with the youth of the community?
We're very proud this year. Our scholarships have really grown, and this year we're able to give 8 deserving kids from all over the Verde Valley and Cottonwood over $8,000 in scholarships this year. We will honor them at the lodge at our Youth Week dinner and award ceremony. We support the kids with their Americanism, their drug awareness, their scholarships. We have a hoop shoot contest, and we also had a state winner this year, so we're really coming up in Elkdom. And we couldn't do it without the support of the City Council, members of the community, parents. We'd like to thank you all, and this first week in May is to honor our youth. Thank you.
Great, and you also just won, the ELKS won the city, or it's the Verde Independent and the Cottonwood Council Award for Community or Organization of the Year. And that's, Lana, that, because you changed the name, it's Verde Champions, Verde Valley Champions Award. So congratulations on that. Also, I won't be able to attend your dinner. You got my message. I have a budget meeting that night. I'd rather come hang out with the kids, but the budget is calling, so I'm so sorry it was on the same night. Whereas the Benevolent and Protective Order of ELKS has designated May 1st through 7th as Youth Week to honor America's junior citizens for their accomplishments and to giving fitting recognition of their services to the community, state, and nation. And whereas Jerome Lodge number 1361 will sponsor an observance during that week in tribute to the junior citizens of this community, and whereas no event could be more deserving of our support and participation than one dedicated to these young people who represent the nation's greatest resource, and who, in the years ahead, will assume the responsibility for the advancement of our free society. And whereas our youth need guidance, inspiration, and encouragement, which we alone can give in order to help develop these qualities of character essential for future leadership and go forth to serve America. And whereas to achieve this worthy objective, we should demonstrate our partnership with youth, our understanding of their hopes and aspirations, and a sincere willingness to help prepare them in every way for the responsibilities and opportunities of citizenship. Now therefore, I, Diane Jones, Mayor of the City of Cottonwood, hereby proclaim the first week in May as Youth Week and urge all departments of government, civic, fraternal, and patriotic groups and our citizens generally to participate wholeheartedly in its observance. So we would like to make this proclamation. For the ELKS. Thank you for all you do. Okay, we have a couple of awards. And the first is, and as soon as these awards are done, the next motorcycle item will be up, so it won't be too much longer. Okay. So the first one is Employees Yielding Effective Safety Award, and we have Joyce Reed from the library who will be awarded and recognized tonight.
And Madam Mayor, as you recall, or the council recalls, this is our program where we encourage employees to identify safety hazards that they observe around the city so that we can get them taken care of and make sure that our citizens are safe. And Joyce actually reported a problem that was on county property, but it was a fairly significant problem in that it was in an area where kids potentially walk through or play, and it was a some type of a concrete box with a wood covering on it that wasn't very secure. So Joyce reported that, and we were able to coordinate with the city or the county to make sure that that got taken care of. So we want to appreciate and recognize Joyce and thank all of our employees that report these safety hazards around the city. And I was also interested to see that Joyce's last name is R-E-A-D, and she works at the library. I'm sure you must get comments about that fairly often.
Actually, my middle name is May, M-A-Y, so it's Joyce May Reed.
Your parents set you up good, didn't they?
Well, you can see why we hired her.
Yes, I can. And
well,
you know,
thank you very much, Joyce.
She's just been such a great addition to the library, and she works with the youth and the kids, and she's just an amazing person. And from working with her, seeing her, being at the library a few times, I can really see that she's a great addition to our team.
Thank you very much. I'm having a blast.
And she also makes snakes out of bottle caps.
I do.
And I saw
recycled art.
Right, recycled art, and I saw those down at the Old Town Frame Shop.
Yep.
So she's quite talented in many areas. So council, if you come up and help give this to Joyce. And the city manager, and anybody else that should be up here. So we're all here to thank you for keeping our children and whoever else would be walking there safe. In that area, it's right there in the little park, right? The county's park?
Yeah, it's actually right behind Youth Services.
Okay.
And there's a park there with a pathway, and so it's kind of right in the area where people can be walking.
I just took my dogs for a walk there last night, so I was safe thanks to you. So Councilmember Garrison has a plaque for you. And the Vice Mayor has a check.
Just open it and use it.
You can buy ball caps. Or balls with caps.
So thank you so much.
All right, thank you.
Congratulations. Okay, the next item is certificates of merit to Curtis Culbert and Randy Hargrave for extinguishing a vehicle fire on March 30th, 2015. Chief Kirkendall.
Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council. It's my privilege tonight to acknowledge some exemplary community service by two citizens of our community for actions that occurred on March 30th. In the course of their work with Coombs Cabinets, they were passing by the intersection or the area of Fur and 260, and unlike all the other cars that were zipping by, they stopped because there was a VW on fire. For those who know, the older bugs, the engines would catch on fire pretty regular. If you guys are around, remember those. Without hesitation, they stopped their work vehicle, jumped out with their fire extinguisher and extinguished the fire before the fire had destroyed the vehicle. And in the words of Autumn Durnez, one of our ordinance enforcement officer, who was the first city official on scene, said they did a great job and that others were taking pictures and driving by and they stopped to help. So we just wanted to acknowledge what we see as something above and beyond what so many people would drive by, but they stopped and provided service to another member of our community, and in doing so also helped improve safety so we didn't have a much larger incident than what it turned out to be. So it's just a pleasure to acknowledge them if they would come up.
Well, thank you so much for saving the day. That's amazing.
And a Volkswagen.
And a Volkswagen.
And a Volkswagen. They saved a Volkswagen.
There aren't many left, yeah.
Yeah. Do you have any words to share with us? No public speaking? Well, we want to, the City Council and the Fire Department, Chief Kirkendall and the City Manager all want to thank you for what you did, so if the council could come up. So, Chief, you want to please shake their hands and thank them?
Sure, absolutely. Gentlemen, thank you for your assistance to our community and for your good citizenship by exemplifying by what you did for a neighbor. Let me get out of the thing, let the pictures.
So we have Councilmember Dowling is going to give Randy his certificate, and Councilmember. So thank you very much. Keep up the great work, being really wonderful citizens. Thank you so much.
Is that brought forward by the chief?
I would like to thank Jackie and Dan Coombs for being part of this, and
Virgil.
Oh, Virgil. Where did I get Dan? I don't know either. You'll answer to anything as long as it's not late for dinner, right? So Virgil and Jackie, who own a countertop business right here in Old Town.
42 years.
42 years now. Congratulations. You've owned that shop almost as long as I've been married. We really appreciate you bringing this to our attention, and for Chief Kirkendall's quick attention to the recognition, and for you being there in a time of need. It's really wonderful to know that citizens will step up to the plate and help someone out.
It just shows their character. It brings
So Virgil says it shows their character, for those who couldn't hear that, and it does. Thank you so much for being here tonight. You're welcome. Okay, so the next item is presentations. Representatives from Bikers Against Child Abuse, BACA, will present information regarding their organization. So if you would come up to the lectern and share your information with us.
Not that short. I'm going to bring that up a little bit.
Is Cindy Bond here tonight?
She's so bummed. I wanted to give her a hug because she's the one that worked really diligently about getting us up here. Thank you all for allowing us to be here, too. How many of you ever heard of BACA? That's why we're here. That's why we're here. I know I only have, from what your secretary said, I had about 15 minutes, so I'm going to try to give that up and down elevator speech on us. I'm here to let you know who we are, who we're not, what we do, and what we do not do. We are a 501c3 nonprofit organization that is international. We are in 8 countries right now. We have 22 more countries that are on board. Argentina was one of our biggest ones, who has a writing group down there. They're not a club or anything like that. They're a writing group. They're about 1,700 strong. They found out about BACA and decided that they're going to switch over to BACA and help their children down in that country too. And we're just going to keep growing and growing and growing. We started back in 1995 in Provo, Utah. John Paul Lilly, JP Lilly, aka Chief, is the one that started it. He's a licensed clinical social worker and a registered play therapist. And he just got tired of working with children who were abused, and he was making some incremental changes and stuff like that, and then all it would take is either the perp or the perp's family or somebody to drive by and shut that child down, and then, you know, these perps or these abusers get to walk. We've had enough of it, and he reached out to a lot of his friends and biker friends and stuff, and, you know, what has become a dream is still growing. We just found out when we went to nationals that in the last 10 years we've reached and helped over 8,460 children. We're hoping to do that in 2 years now as we're growing. In Arizona, we have 2 chapters. We have the Maricopa County chapter that I am a member of. We also have a chapter down in Tucson, or Pima County chapter, when you were saying Maricopa and Pima. We also have some informing effort. I have Bebop and Fomboy here, who are up here. They've been trying for about a year, and they're not giving up to try to get some kind of more awareness up here, maybe even getting a chapter up here. We are not a club. We are not a gang. Okay, so that's one thing a lot of people always, you know, kind of put on us all the time. That's not what we do. I'm a mother of 3, grandmother of 6, and I've been with my husband 33 years. We got a small business. We love to ride, and we ride for a reason. You know, so if I'm going to put the time out there, and actually, it was actually a beautiful ride, even though I was in the truck, these guys were riding. Because my husband's sick, he couldn't make it. What we do is we go to court with our little ones, our wounded little brothers and sisters, once we bring them into the organization. And the way that we bring them into the organization is we work with local, like Child Help, CASA, Sojourner's House, DES, CPS, local and state officials who are already in place. A lot of them know who we are. The judges love to see us when we come into the courtrooms. Defense doesn't, but that's the way it is. But you know, we go in there with our wounded little ones, and we help them to stand tall. We try to empower them to not feel afraid of the world in which they live, so that they can give their story and say what happened to them. We were just in on Friday. My little girl, she went up there and she was terrified, but she gave her impact statement at the very end of it. She wanted the person that had raped her know that she is not a victim anymore. You know, that she is moving on with her life, and that day was the beginning of her new life. Holding back tears, sometimes it's hard. We call it BACA allergies, but it's okay. As long as that little one could stand tall and tell their story, that's exactly what we do. What we do not do is we do not go after the perps or the abusers, the perpetrators or the abusers. That is not our job. That's why we work with local and state officials who are already there in place. We do not, if they come to us or anything like that, we do not engage in any kind of, you know, physical fights and things like that. When people see bikers, you know, that stereotype. But as you know, even with MMA, Modified Motorcycle Association, you know, we're out there and we're just fighting for rights to be out and doing what we like to do, like people like, you know, golfers and things like that. I mean, you know. But we are bikers against child abuse. We're not cagers, you know, cars against child abuse. Just think of that. See, hey, it just doesn't sound right, you know. So, you know, so we want to help our little brothers and sisters, and they're all over. We have children up in Snowflake. We have kids down in Sierra Vista. Where do we all have? Sholo, Strawberry. We have them all over. And the 2 chapters that we have, we take care of all of the kids, border to border. It doesn't matter. It is our dime, our time. We do not, and nobody does, all the way up to the level. We do not have a corporate office, all right? It is all done by texting, emailing, phone calls, that's it. Because then if we get into that, then the funds that we raise for these kids are going to all advertisement and all that other crap. That's not what we do. The funds that we raise with we have some models? One up here. We have shirts. We have like these right here. The front of it says "No child deserves to live in fear." Is that the one you have? Could you show the back of it? And that's a new one that references our pamphlet, our mission statement, the one that Farm Boy has on. It says, "I will be that obstacle." Because at the very end of our mission statement, it says, "We do not condone the use of violence. However, if circumstances arise as such, or we are the only obstacle in the way of a child being further abused, we stand ready to be that obstacle." We have had members shot at, pepper sprayed, hit by cars. We don't care. Bring it on. You know, one of the other things that we do that's really important to these children is if there is a threat to the house, we will camp out in front of their house. We do perimeter searches. We get in touch with local law enforcement who can't do that. And like I said, we do not engage in any kind of battles with them. If they come up, they can do all they want. We just call our local officials and let them know what's happening. Can you please come and escort them away? These kids have seen enough. You all know what's been going on. They're falling through the cracks every single day. It is something that, you know, it's not a me thing. This is a we thing. So it's not just my, you know, organizations. There's other ones, like I said, Sojourners and CASA and all those out there. Child Help. We've been up here. Matter of fact, we're going to Prescott Thursday to the CPS, you know, going up there to do a symposium up there and try to educate some people up there. Most of our presentations are a lot longer because there's a lot of questions people ask and stuff like that. But I implore everybody to please get on our website, bacaworld.org, and please, you know, fish through it, ask questions. I'm known as Nitro. A lot of people know me. Chief calls me Bro. He couldn't get sis right, so he calls me Bro, so I keep that. That's an honor to me. I've been involved. Actually, I am the longest member in Maricopa County. And Pipes, who is now our international vice president, he and I are the longest in Arizona. And I'm not going to stop. Neither is my brothers and my sisters here are going to stop. We're here to get the word out there and see if anybody else wants to help if you ride. There's different levels of commitment within our organization, but we look at the public to help us too. When we bring in a child, we give them little jean jackets, we take off the sleeves, we give them little road names, and that's for anonymity purposes. Because if somebody come up to me and said, "Hey, you've got my niece, you know, and I think it's really great," and they ramble off for a name, I don't know who you're talking about. Even if they know their road name, they're trying to find that child for their brother or whoever. It doesn't matter. Our funds also pay for therapy. Some kids don't have insurance, they can't get into therapy to talk about what's going on. Therapy doesn't necessarily mean seeing a therapist. It could be what if karate would empower that kid? What if equestrian therapy would help? Animals and children, they just bond so wonderfully. You know, I mean, there's all kinds of things. We put on a huge state picnic for them. We rent out a park. It's their money, it's not ours. We rent out a big park for them for them to go and have fun and be kids. We have a winter party, we do the same thing so they can go and have fun and be kids again. And they know that we are everywhere. If they move to another state, we get in touch with that state president, they pick up that child. If they go on vacation, we get in touch with that state president wherever they are, and those brothers and sisters in that state will come and visit them, those that are closest to them, to let them know we're not going away. And we do what we say we are going to do. That's one of the biggest reasons why I got into it. I don't get involved in Mickey Mouse clubs that have dues and things like that. I want to do something right. Been through abuse. A lot of my brothers and sisters have been through abuse in their life, and we've lived in a darkness. I'm going to leave it with our colors on her back. Could you do me a favor? Our colors, somebody else, could you stand and face that? There you go. All right. The red is the blood from our wounded children. The white is the innocence of our children. The black outline that you see that goes around the fist, and that is the darkness our children go through. Our fist is our commitment to stop child abuse. The Jolly Roger, the little skull thing, is an end to child abuse, and our chains is our united organization. This is Child Abuse Awareness Month. It should be 365, 24/7, not 1 month. We need to be aware of it all the time. We're here to help. We're not here to take anybody's job. I don't want your job. I just want to be there to fill a gap, and that's what my brothers and sisters and I do. He's giving me a warning. But if you want any information, I do have business cards. Please give me a call. I will come anywhere, care it's one person, somebody's house. I don't care where it is, to do a full presentation, to answer even any more questions anybody has. You know, we just want you to know that we're not the Hells Angels or the Sons of Anarchy, okay? Although I like the show. Thank you very much.
So I would like to have one of your cards. And I'd like to thank the city manager when Cindy Lee Bond met with me. She was very concerned about the issue of child abuse. And so
Thank you.
the city manager, having ridden motorcycle himself, helped us helped us with get the presentation here tonight for BACA, Bikers Against Child Abuse. So if all of you would come up and the city manager get a photo with them. Those of you.
Is this for a dartboard?
You could be the bullseye.
You caught on your little.
Especially for a mayor like Cottonwood.
It's just nice to have a photograph of you all. We appreciate having written up and thanks to our great photographers. Get your cast. Thank you all for being here.
Is William Eaton here? William Eaton?
The next item was re-presentation of the Governor's Arts Awards presented to William Eaton. And he had another responsibility commitment tonight, so he will be here on May 5th instead. Okay, next we have an update from the Old Town Association regarding its activities for 2014.
Hi, Madam Mayor, City Council members, and City Manager. I appreciate you giving us the opportunity to make this presentation. I want to do two things. First, I want to introduce myself, and then I'm going to have Lindsay, who we're fortunate enough to have as one of our members, who is our past president of the Old Town Association.
And Larry?
My name is Larry Cohen.
All right.
I was honored to be nominated and voted in as the president of the Old Town Association last month. I want to give you a little bio just so you kind of know what I'm bringing to the table as the president of the Old Town Association. I graduated with a degree in marketing from the University of Colorado with an emphasis on tourism and travel. I was a marketing director for 9 years for the second largest credit union in the Philadelphia area. After that, I was the owner of a charter dive business in Florida for 11 years. And now I'm the owner of Larry's Antiques for the last 5 years, me and my wife Jennifer. I have been on the board of the Old Town Association for the last 4 years as a board member, and I was the treasurer for the last 2.5 years. The reason we are giving the presentation this month is because we know that next month is the budget where we're going to be asking you guys for money. What we do is we have a three-prong or three-branch method of increasing awareness, driving business, and what's important for you guys, driving tax dollars to the area. We do local advertising, we do events, and we do regional and statewide advertising. The Arizona Office of Tourism grant, which we're going to talk about today, is what we need, what's beneficial, and what's necessary for us to be able to do the regional and the statewide advertising for the Old Town, for the merchants of the Old Town. Lindsay is going to tell you about the program itself. The only thing I want to add to it is it pretty much is the only way we can do this. Reason being, the Arizona Office of Tourism not only matches the dollars that we put into the program, we get preferred rates on any advertising we do. As you guys probably would be aware of or guess, the publications that Lindsay's going to tell you about are more expensive publications to be in. It's not something that we as individual merchants can take part in, or even the Old Town Association, without a grant and without the matching money that we're getting from this. As a merchant that's been here 5 years, I can tell you I've seen the difference in what the city has done, what the city has helped to contribute to, what the Old Town Association has done, and what the merchants have done. I get people coming into my store every day telling us where they came from, where they found out about it, and how much they like this community and how much they like this Old Town area. So again, I'm going to turn it over to Lindsay. She's going to tell you a little bit about the program, and if you guys have any questions, please feel free.
Certainly, please do.
Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, it's actually quite good to be here. I haven't been around very much, but I am still a member of the board as past president. And this was really one of my babies. Lana Tollerson in the chamber actually is the key member of this, and OTA supports this fully. This is one of the ways that we can get the message out. Let me see. The purpose actually is the marketing cooperative provides destination marketing organizations such as the Chamber, our Chamber, rural DMOs, and tribal entities, as well as statewide and regional tourist partnerships with ad placement at preferred rates and complete matching of funds, which is pretty critical when we're running in something like the Arizona official state guide. The other thing that happens in this is that Lana has a very nice relationship with the Office of Tourism. And this year, unusually, our funding hasn't been cut for this grant, which is pretty unusual considering what's happening with the state budget. So not only is it the ads that we're given access to and the matching of the funds, we're also part of their newsletter. We're also part of their website, which is 2 million or more visitors a year. And also, there is something called sales and media visits, and they all come through Lana's office. It's pretty labor intensive, but these people write about us in national magazines, in local magazines, in state magazines, as well as convention bureaus coming here to learn about us and sell the services of our area. Let's see. Our qualifying DMO, or Destination Marketing Organization, which is really key, is Lana and her staff and the Cottonwood Chamber of Commerce. Okay, these are the contributions that are made by the different marketing partners. In addition to the Chamber, we also have the CEDC, which has been extremely supportive, and OTA. Because we have an opportunity to be statewide and give our merchants more exposure, we also, through events, through our subsidy from the city, and also our Chocolate Walk event, and oftentimes Thunder Valley Rally, we have funds to spend, and we try and turn those funds over almost in their entirety, so that we do all the promotion that we can do, whether it be local or through events or through statewide. So these are the program actually started in 2012 and has the red figures in 2015. That is proposed going forward. That's the least that we can put in as OTA. The amounts are pretty substantial. The Chamber has given over $11,000. We've given over $35,000, and the CEDC has contributed over $13,500. That's actually almost $60,000 worth of advertising dollars because they're matched funds, and that's pretty unusual. I mean, when Sedona has a budget of 350 plus for marketing, our little bit, you know, I think we're trying to spend it really wisely. As we look at the matching funds, in 2012, they matched our funds dollar for dollar. So we had $18,222 in 2012. 2013, we had $37,344. And then this past year, we had $35,020. Now, we're hoping this next year that we'll be able to maintain that. We didn't come in with as much in terms of Thunder Valley Rally, and our Run for the Roses, our first year, was not quite as profitable as we had hoped it would be. So we've spent a little bit of money, but we think it's really important that you see the type of media that we're in, because when we ask you for AOT funds, it sounds, you know, where is that going? So we really want you to be able to nail down what the media. Okay, the first one is the official Arizona State Guide, and then also the map. Those are two different things. The circulation of the guide is 450,000 printed copies annually. It's through direct mail, the AZ visitor centers, and the convention and visitors bureaus. Those are distributed. Their website has 2 million plus visitors a year. So being in there, we have been able to elevate from the first year from a quarter page to a half a page. That is, you know, roughly an $8,000 ad, and we spend like maybe $2,500 for it because we're matched and we also have a discount rate. Okay, AAA, Arizona Highways, 490,000 statewide. They have an issue in November, December, and they have an issue in May and June. The distribution is through subscription and newsstand. Arizona Drive Guide. The circulation is 128,000 statewide yearly. This is distributed when you rent a car. This is something you can pick up. Airport information desks, select retailers, and it's also online. The Grand Canyon Journal, 100,000 printed. They claim the readership is 300,000. The newsstands, visitor centers across Arizona. The official guide to Greater Phoenix, that's 300,000 annually, convention and visitors bureaus. And the Valley Guide, 240,000 yearly, and we are in one quarterly issue, which is 60,000. It's in hotels, resorts, retailers, visitors attractions, by subscription, and newsstands. Phoenix Magazine, this is the only audited figure in the whole state of Arizona, 77,648 monthly. We are in the spring travel guide, which is the most important of all their travel issues, and that's by subscription and by newsstand. And finally, thank you. But the most important thing is this is a piece of our marketing, and it's not only marketing for OTA, but it's really, we don't have another marketing arm per se. So using our dollars wisely, we think that doubling, the lights, yeah, I think that doubling what we have to offer, plus all of these people from, not really, all the people that are coming in terms of travel writers and visitors that come through all the publications. Lana does a wonderful job in putting this together, maintaining the program, and I would really ask you to think very carefully at budget time when we make a request. The last couple years, we were given some additional funds, and that last year was cut back. We understand the constraints, but if there is money in the budget to bring more tax dollars to town, I think this is a good way to spend it. And we wanted you to know where it's going specifically. Any questions?
So you said that Lana Tollison from the Chamber works on all of
yes,
this also?
Yes, this is really her program. Because they are the destination marketing organization, the grant comes through them. It comes through the Chamber. So, you know, what they really are the manager, they're the workhorse, and we contribute to that. We try and do a support, but she really is the main focus.
And did you want to share any information with us,
Lana?
Lana, since you're here tonight?
Yes, jump right up.
I just came because she asked me to come. The Arizona Office of Tourism tries to spend their money as wisely as possible, so they go out and beat up all of these magazines and say, give us the best rate possible, then they split that rate with us. So we use that not only to promote Old Town Association and merchants of Old Town, but other entities around Cottonwood. So it's the more money that we can put towards the program, the better. So, and as you can tell from traffic, if you try to drive around town, there's much more traffic, so we feel like advertising is working. bringing people to town, creating sales tax and jobs.
All
That's
right.
what it's all about, is jobs.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Tim, did you?
Thanks. So you had a, excuse me, proposed $8,000 to go toward this.
Right, we'd like to
program.
put, yeah, we'd like
Is
to
that-
put more.
We typically give you about the same amount every year, right? Normally
Right,
give
now,
OT about
2
this.
years ago, you also gave us an additional
Extra five,
5,000
right.
to put, as a special grant to put toward this, and we think that that's well spent.
So is that 8,000, that's not, is that in addition to what we normally give you, is what you're asking, or is
No,
that coming from?
no,
what
it's
we-
not.
Okay.
What we do is we take what you give us, our chocolate walk receipts, what we get from membership, which is, although we do have the largest membership than the organization has ever had at this point, but also TVR gives us a little bit in terms of, because they use our liquor license. So we try and take all that, but we know that at a certain point, we don't have any more to spend, and yet we know there's dollars out there to be matched. So, and, we can work with any of you to give you a little bit more information, but I really wanted you to see the different entities, where this money is going, because 450,000 copies across the state, that's pretty good. And when the AOT goes out of state to promote us, they take all this information with them. So it's really very positive.
Absolutely.
Anyone else?
Any other questions, Council?
Nope. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank
We
you
really
very
appreciate it.
much.
Thanks for your consideration.
Thanks, Larry. We appreciate all of you. And Lana, thanks for being here tonight.
Okay, thank you. Good night.
Thank you. So when the budget comes up, we'll be discussing all of this, and, all right. So I'm going to, after we have our next presentation, which is the Verde Front Recreation Planning Process Update, I'm going to move up the consideration of designating a section of Garrison Park to be used to create a military service park, so you folks don't have to sit here too much longer tonight. So if we would have our next item, the Verde Front Recreation Planning Process Update, and we have Chip Norton, Steve Ayers, we have Amaro, your last name again? Torres. I just know him as Amaro, the Recreation Supervisor of the Prescott National Forest, and we have George Christensen here from Dead Horse Ranch State Park, and Thomas Palmer. And who else do we have?
Tom Willard.
Tom Willard?
Todd Willard. I'm the,
Todd Willard.
The new district manager there at Verde.
Oh, well, it's so nice to meet you. Congratulations. So happy that you're all here. Yes. Okay. Thank you so much. All right. Thank you. Thank you for being here again.
Ride safe.
So, Mr. Norton.
So we're trying to find your presentation on here.
Okay. You're trying to find the communication. If you need help, Matt
I
can
do need help.
probably
Where is
assist
this?
you.
Where did this light? There we go. That is not good. All right, we're there.
Okay, thanks for your patience. Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, Manager Bartosh. So the purpose of our presentation is to give you an update on the Verde Front process. It's been going on since 2009. Give this presentation out of state as well, at least the first part. So This is to tell you where you are, which in Colorado that matters, here not so much. So outdoor recreation and the things we have to offer in the Verde Valley. Arizona's only wild and scenic rivers, both the Verde River and Fossil Creek. We've got 7 state parks, 3 national monuments, 2 county parks, 2 national forests. We've got the Verde River at Clarkdale, just upstream down here. Got Riverfront Park, the Jail Trail, the disc golf course.
And don't forget Dead Horse Ranch is in the city limits too.
Well, we kept that in the state parks.
They're in their own,
but you are, it is in your
yes, we always forget
corporate
that.
Boundaries.
We're very proud to have that in Cottonwood.
Yeah. Just where it says Cottonwood, Arizona on that last slide. It's
right.
Dead Horse State Park and the Jail Trail is part of the Verde River.
They're all connected.
Camp Verde River Recreation Master Planning, which we're just starting that process. One thing about that, just a little note on, Steve will talk later about when most of the elected officials in the Verde Valley, business leaders, agency people went up to Grand Junction, Colorado to learn about how they approached outdoor recreation and river recreation there. Interesting note there just to bring up that 70% of the people that participate in river recreation never get in the water. It's families going to picnic, it's watching their kids out playing with their dog and going fishing, and that even though in that area they actually designed whitewater parks for boating, they found that the main users, again, were families going to the river together, and of the people that went in the water, half of them were kids under the age of 14. Okay. So anyway, when you put all that in the Verde Valley, that's a lot of outdoor recreation and a lot of issues associated with it, resource protection, you know, predicted population growth, declining budgets, and the importance of rural economies. So what happens if we don't all work together collaboratively to manage this? Mayor Jones is very familiar with this. Then we can work together to clean up the mess later. And stewards of public lands worked for a lot of years and continue to work on that issue. Next slide. So in 2009, a process led by Prescott National Forest and Arizona State Parks began a planning process to deal with the opportunities and the challenges. Came up with this vision and to focus on 3 things: conserving ecosystem health, protecting cultural resources, and promoting robust economies in our towns and cities. Next slide. And this was a county-wide process, and the Verde Front was the Verde Valley component of that. Again, it being led by Prescott National Forest, the geographic focus there was from the rim of the Black Hills down to the river. But there were 2 other zones there. One's just the greater Prescott area. They focused on trail recreation, and then down Agua Fria, Crown King. And they had a lot of focus just on Agua Fria National Monument and citizen science on the Agua Fria River. Next slide. So this is the composition of the Verde Front now and how it's set up. And back when this process started in 2009, I would say in the Verde Valley, the greatest participation came from the U.S. Forest Service, Arizona State Parks, and the city of Cottonwood. At that time, Mayor Jones was the only elected official involved in the process. Right now, we have a leadership council with the Verde Front that Mayor Clarkdale, again Mayor Jones, Mayor of Camp Verde, Supervisor Davis, and the Mayor of Sedona all participate, and the leaders of the different agencies involved, Arizona State Parks, U.S. Forest Service, National Park Service, And the criteria for being on the leadership, and there are a few at-large members as well selected by the Leadership Council, business leaders and community leaders, but you have to be an elected official or be pretty far up the food chain with the agencies to participate in this. Where when this whole process started, it was Parks and Recreation staff, user groups. What happened is a lot of the working groups, Mayor Jones would be there, Mayor Von Gossig would be there, Mayor German from Camp Verde would be there, and I think actually Mayor Jones, your proposal, maybe we should take this to a higher level and get our elected officials together with agency leaders. So the format now is we have a leadership council who they're basically the boss of the group as it sits at now. The coordinating team it's all volunteers, but it's basically staff for this effort. Then we have different working groups, Trails Working Group, the String of Pearls, which is river recreation, economic development, which included the National Geographic geotourism effort, and Youth Pathways, which is introducing youth to outdoor recreation. And again, to go back to the difference then and now, in 2010, professional facilitation, and it was funded by Prescott National Forest. Now we've moved to a model of shared funding. At that time, we had vision goals and strategic plan. Still have that, but now we've moved to a charter. As I stated earlier, now we have the engagement of elected officials, agencies. We now have a lot of business leaders participating. Then there was no river recreation management planning. Now we have a working group dealing with that. And finally, the geographic scope, which was the west side of the Verde River, including the Verde River, now is the entire Verde Valley. So, to talk about benefits, we'll turn it over to Steve.
And I want to, I mean, the Prescott National Forest has really been the major funder of the project thus far, is that correct?
Since 2000, well actually I think starting in 2007, but since we got things going here, the Prescott National Forest has done the bulk of the funding.
Right.
And at that time it started out basically dealing with, we were talking about recreation on U.S. forest land. And now we've shifted over to where we're talking about recreation in the cities and towns, state parks, and in basically the entire landscape.
Right. So we just want to say thank you to the Prescott National Forest. We wouldn't be where we are today if it weren't for you and your support of the effort.
You just hit this one here. Thank you, Mayor, thank you, Council. Discuss the benefits of this real quickly. There's nothing better than having everybody at the table, and this process has brought everybody to the table, and things are actually getting done, which is a huge, you know how hard it can be, especially when we're dealing with public lands and the like, and it's easier for them. It's easier for the land managers when you have all the voices together in a room, and we're sitting down and prioritizing our projects together, and in a system that they can actually do their own budgeting and do their own planning. So it's a terrific effort, and it's all the cities, it's the towns, it's the county, it's state and federal agencies, and a lot of the local nonprofit organizations which help us in benefiting the river in many ways. It also brings in a lot of expertise that we didn't previously have here. We have folks that environmental stuff, we have folks that can help us with planning processes, we have folks that have actually done this in other areas can come in as guests, and Manager Bartosh was on the trip up to Grand Junction, where you get a chance to really listen to the folks that have been through the trench before and trying to take 35 miles of river and turn it into something that you can all be proud of and is well managed and run. So a great place for information sharing. I jumped it. So this is the one we all went up to Grand Junction. Mayor, you were there also. And it's taken them 27 years to restore 35 miles of river. I tell the story that my daughter was born in 1980, and I went to Grand Junction in 1981 when she was a year old to take her to meet my wife's best friend, who she was named after. And that was the ugliest town in America. And they called it Grand Junkyard for a reason. And you go there today, and they have every reason to be proud of it. They have cleaned up 35 miles of river. They've built trails along the river. It's a remarkable 5 state parks have been constructed over there in that period of time, and it's a destination. So some of the projects we were alluding to, we've formed this economic development group. Casey's been active on that with myself and several others, and we got a $135,000 grant from the Walton Family Foundation and kicked off this National Geographic Co-op advertising, which really tries to, geotourism really tries its definitions. It sustains and enhances the geographic character of a place, its environment, its culture, its aesthetics, heritage, and well-being of its residents. Not to sound snobby, but it's a program that brings in the kind of visitors you want. Very compatible with what you're doing here and your marketing here. We just heard about from Lindsay, your old town, the wineries, all this stuff blends in together. So one thing, when you do collaborative projects like this, it just makes it so, like I said, again, so much easier for Seth to do. A number of different people, a number of different organizations have worked on the Verde River Clarkdale project. Your gel trail down here, we've had 3 of those. We have about 4 of them now working on our river recreation master planning. Success brings success and brings more people to the table. So the huge part about this, it also brings in outside funding, and it talks about, from my town, we are, as you know, not a town with a lot of money, so everything we do, we have to leverage. So we leverage it in any way, shape, or form we can. The geotourism, you guys contributed to that, or the chamber did. There was $25,000 contributed into that pot from the various communities in Yavapai County. There was an additional $20,000 from AOT thrown into that. We got money from the Friends of the Verde River Greenway, got money from the Walton Family Foundation. So you take a $45,000 investment and suddenly you have $250,000 with it. That's pretty significant. $25,000 now your own, so it's a 10-to-1 leverage point. Verde River Clarkdale, again, about a 6-to-1 leverage point of what they had in there. So far, I don't have a dime into this river recreation thing. I got $95,000 in grants and assistance on that. But we'll be putting some money into this as we've got a request into state parks to put some additional funding into that. But it's a lot easier to go to state parks and say, hey, if you'll put in 10 grand, we'll put in 105. Or my town council say, hey, we'll put in 105 if you'll put in 10. So next steps, the Leadership Council will be meeting here on May 7th, and we were going to approve a budget. For the first time, we were talking, Mary made the comment, who's funding this, and it has been the Prescott National Forest. We really feel at this point we can put a little bit of money, seed money into this, and again, get additional funding for the projects and for the administrative portion of the work that we do. You'll be receiving a small request, and when we say small request, this request will probably be at less than $2,500 for each community to chip in a little piece now and have some buy-in to all this. Although we're all benefiting 50, 60, 70 to 1 for that little contribution you may put in there. So we'll be bringing back a final budget. We'll also be the charter, which we've been working on for some time in the coordinating group. And the real benefits that we feel are down the road. We think it's some time that this river recreation and ability to cooperate and deal with that kind of a landscape-wide project from the communities could lead us to a point where someday when we really have to, things get very serious, and we have to do some real river management, water use management and the like, we'll have the structure out there, we'll have a group, and we'll be used to working together with one another. And I think that is sort of one of those benefits you can't really put a dollar value on. So I think that's it. That's it. So anyway, you stole my thing. I was going to introduce Todd Willard, our new district ranger for the Verde Ranger District, so he'll be overseeing a lot of stuff in Clarkdale and Cottonwood and Camp Verde here. So, Todd, thanks. Welcome aboard. Join a good organization here. So,
is there? Yeah. Would you like to? Why don't you come on up and share a little information, since I'm sure it has to do with the Verde front.
Well, it's just an introduction. I thought it was important to see everybody face to face, so you know who I am and where I come from.
Can we get someone to turn on the lights, please? Thank you.
I'm a 26-year Forest Service employee, and I've been around, but I'm pretty familiar with, I worked on the Tonto Forest for the greater portion of my career, and spent a lot of time on the river, and I understand that end of it.
I thought I understood this end of it until I got here and I got this education. So this is tremendous. I'm happy to be here. But the connectivity the river provides among these communities is amazing. And so anyway, I'm excited to be here, and these folks deserve all the credit. They've just been all over the board and getting it done. So very unique, and I've seen a lot of work efforts awarded at the national level that aren't pale in comparison to what I'm seeing here. So anyway, but thanks for your consideration, and I'm glad to be here. I'm at the Verde district office, so let me up anytime.
All right, great.
Thanks.
Thank you. Anybody else from the Forest Service or State Parks who would like to say a few words? Did you have someone scheduled to say a few words?
No.
No?
We just wanted to introduce Todd. And
Okay.
We're
sure the closer. Unless you'd like to play the closer.
Yeah, you can be the closer.
Who's the closer? You didn't appoint one?
No, not for this
okay.
presentation.
I'm trying to hand it to you.
We need a volunteer, so.
Okay. Well, Amaro, would you like to share any thoughts, or Tom, George, come on up to the lectern so that our television audience can hear you. They won't be able to hear you if you're not by the microphone.
Sure. Since I've been involved in the process, this has been an all hands, all lands approach. At least the way I look at it, it's kind of a holistic approach. When you're doing fuels reduction, for example, you don't just go with your little boundary, because there's other things that can still be affected. So you want to look at it there holistically, and that's kind of the approach we've taken with recreation and looking at this community that really stretches the length of the river through the Verde Valley. So, it's not just stopping at the forest boundary, but looking at across to our neighbors, Park Service and Clarkdale, Cottonwood, Camp Verde, the county, and it's been a good effort. It's been amazing what small communities can do just working together. So,
thank you very much.
Thank you.
Anybody else like to speak?
I am glad to be a part of this effort as well. It's been really good. I've been to a lot of the meetings, working with the String of Pearls and as well as the Verde Front, and it's really neat to see all the players come together from the town of Camp Verde to the town of Clarkdale, the city of Cottonwood, and build a plan for these different recreational opportunities, these different river access points, and it's good to be ahead of the game and be able to sit down with the different municipal leaders and elected officials and be able to plan for these accordingly. So before the different resources get trampled, and we can be ahead of the game. And it's been a great collaborative effort, and we continue to look forward to working with all the different partners on this effort. So.
Thank you so much. Tom, did you have anything to add?
I would say, thank you. I came here about 5 years ago and kind of entered into this process with the sustainable rec that the Prescott was doing with the communities. And for me, like Omero said, it's an all hands, all lands approach. And as a manager, it's very important to be able to provide those services to the community the best we can. We're used to doing things in an old way. We know how to build a trail, we know how to maintain them, but we need better information so we can provide services and opportunities for the now versus what we know. So for me, this whole process is about relationships and building sustainable relationships for the future. And so when I leave, or Omero leaves, or the ranger leaves, or George retires maybe, a few years.
Long time, George, long time.
We have these relationships in place, so, and the great stewards and the stalwarts of the community that give their time and effort every day to make this process work. So that's the value for me, is working with people and providing better opportunities and building communities and building that relationship back with the communities and the land and between ourselves. So kudos to these folks that work every day doing the great work, unpaid.
Chip is a wonderful volunteer and multi organizations.
There's a great community of folks here in the Verde Valley, and they care about the land preservation and conservation, and that's great. So,
and Tom's also been the one that's been working with Charlie Scully on the Mingus Avenue project and the old Cottonwood dump and all of those challenges. So
we're making progress a little at a time.
We appreciate all the work you're doing there.
You event. We appreciate your support. So,
thank you.
Thank you.
I did want to also introduce Jackie Baker, the Vice Mayor of Camp Verde, is here tonight. And we appreciate her presence. It's great to have you here. Any questions or comments, Vice Mayor?
You know, in going around the Verde Valley, you see Forest Service fences, you see stock fences, but what I don't see are boundary fences anymore between the communities. It's really great to see from Camp Verde to Clarkdale and even beyond that it seems like all those boundaries that were set 40 some odd years ago when I first came here between the communities, they're gone. And it's really nice to see everybody, and a good feeling to see everybody working together. I think that's what's making it so successful, is everybody like you guys out there working together, and the cities and towns working together. So thank you, all of you.
And so they are working with a budget, so they'll be coming to each of the cities and towns, state parks, this county, and asking for a little bit of support. I tell people it'll be very doable. They still have to get the information to the Leadership Council. Therefore, they weren't ready to present that specific information tonight. But in return for a very small amount, really, there's going to be some really excellent work that will be taking place in trails and on the river with the string of pearls. And as you saw, the organizational plan, it's just like multi things going on. And I always like the saying, less talk and more action. Although it takes years and years and years and years to get a trail, because there's just so much work and so many things involved. But I really like the idea of all the cities and towns in the Verde Valley working together on these issues, and I think it really is the only way to go. And we've created some really great working relationships, and I think we'll have a lot of progress through this collaboration. And state parks and national parks, and also the Forest Service, they don't want to meet with like 100 groups. They want to meet one meeting and get everybody at the same table, because otherwise they just don't have enough people resources. And so they've really been supportive of this process, because it cuts down somewhat on their responsibilities to attend hundreds of meetings in 1 week. So we appreciate, thank you, Chip, and appreciate all of you. And this will come back to the council with an amount requested, and probably the mission statement and the charter at a future meeting, not too far from now, after May 7th. So probably the next meeting after May 7th for most of the entities involved. Since budgets are almost being completed, we need to do that as soon as possible. So thank you very much for your time. Appreciate you. Okay, the next item, we're going to go ahead and move up the consideration of designating a section of Garrison Park to be used to create a military service park. And we have Richard Faust with us, who has been very dedicated to this process, along with the city manager, and we appreciate you. And of course, Keith Vogler and Dave Bloward, who are both here tonight, have been spearheading a lot of the efforts, and everyone here tonight. We appreciate you all.
Thank you, Madam Mayor, City Council. Hopefully I can get this to work tonight. I'm technologically challenged, so.
Okay, do you want to move that up next?
Wanted to say that it's my privilege in order to introduce this tonight with Keith Vogler, as well as others here in the room that I'll introduce here in a little bit. About approximately 3 months ago, staff had met with the Marine Corps League, VFW, and groups of veterans and Arizona business owners and individuals interested in establishing a military park at one of the park locations in Cottonwood. The staff had basically introduced 3 locations where park areas were not severely limited, and those were Riverfront Park, Garrison Park, and frontage property at the Cottonwood Cemetery. Garrison Park was overwhelmingly acceptable to the Marine Corps League and the VFW group and the veterans due to the centralized location of the park. the open areas available along the north side, which we'll go over here in just a second. In the pictures, the availability of parking was an issue. Garrison has a lot of parking areas. The opportunity for increased education was a big issue to identifying education in the close proximity to the schools, the school district areas, and the location for park oversight by the city of Cottonwood involving the potential for vandalism, safety, and aesthetics of the park. The park area would be opened up along the northeast side due to the city's upcoming project of relocating pardon me, the restrooms closer to the lift station next to the teen center probably in the next 5 to 6 months. And so I'll show that also in the slides. We also have here this actually is the military service park over the last 3 months. The purpose is to create a facility that would honor America's veterans, members of the United States military, by memorializing both the sacrifices they've made and by recognizing the sense of duty and courage they've displayed as they answered their country's call to arms. Fulfillment of this purpose also would result in educating present and future generations about the dangers to which free societies are exposed, responsibilities inherent in citizenship, and the enormous cost of freedom. Because Americans will have to pay the price of freedom for generations to come, the committee's objective is to be progressive and dynamic as it fulfills its purpose to honor past, current, future generations of military service members from throughout the Verde Valley, along with families who have relatives serving honorably in the military, and that is current, past, future. One of the things we wanted to make sure of is that this included Verde Valley and families. The vision was the committee shall be an emphasis towards the awareness of those who have served in the military in all wars which the United States Armed Forces have fought. The guiding principle of the committee will always be that the Army kind of stepped out of line here, so blocking that a little bit. The military service will be honored and respected because until humanity achieves peace, preservation of freedom will depend largely upon the convictions of those and the heroism of members of the United States military services. The values that undergird the committee's mission for such a facility are freedom as a fundamental right, desire for human progress and happiness, for the preservation of civilization. And as we look at a lot of the information that will be broadcast in the military service park, should the council approve a section of Garrison Park tonight for that purpose, there will be actual monuments that will be set out. Either they'll be in granite or marble, but those are the things that need to be specifically gone through yet concerning the planning committee as well as the budget committee of this group. And so some of those things will be coming out as we take a look at the actual conceptual design and renditions that have been done by Jonathan Shook. And I wish Jonathan was here tonight, but he's not here. But he did a great job. Also, the values of the men and women of the United States military deserve to be honored, remembered, and appreciated for their vital role in the preservation of freedom throughout the history of the nation, along with the thought that other peoples and other lands should also be able to exercise the right to be free. War memorials and dedications of this type are designed to honor the people who serve in the United States military, as they are the ones who protect our freedoms. These types of monuments serve as a dynamic representation for present and future generations to gaze upon, learn about the impact that war has on society, and that ever-present cost of freedom. And again, the context of learning and education in the process, specifically for our school-age children. Parks of this type are coming up all over at this present time period, and which are really, it's great to see communities stepping forward and doing these, but they serve as places for reunion, reflection, healing, and sharing of experiences, for educational displays, for Memorial Day, Veterans Day, Flag Day, VED Day, ceremonies, and as a venue for other patriotic events. These are the pictures that were taken. Sorry, this one's kind of blocked by the actual restroom facility here at the park. This is the section of Garrison Park on the northeast side. On the right-hand side, you can actually see these are vehicles lined up along the county building over here, and this is currently the teen center and Garrison Park basketball hoop area. This is actually the park area that would be utilized should council desire to go ahead and approve tonight for a military service park. This area and through here is hardly ever utilized. I've been here for now 25 years, and We just don't even see this actually utilized. The trees in the area would try to be restored and retained. And there's another picture there as we're getting another close-up look. And one next to the teen center is open area. This is looking back towards the current restroom facility, and there's a small bridge there. This facility will be moved. And again, this looks towards the county building and the parking area here, and then there's adequate parking also over in this area through in the front of the county health building. This actually shows these are the cars that we're just seeing pictures of right here. This is the county building right here. So this is the grounds area again that we'd be looking at. This would be this is the current restroom facility, and this is the entranceway, and you can see that these would be memorials here that would actually identify the current, the wars of the past history of America. And you would branch out into a 5-star area, which is actually, this is the flag post, and then these are all the 5 sections that would be identified for the service branches and the service branch flags. And these are the actual monuments for each one of the services. And these are dedicated monuments also that would be available for others to be able to place in the park area for the military. This actually shows a smaller rendition. I'm sorry I was unable to blow this up. Gives you a better idea though as to the location, the cars, and this is more parking here. Shows you an awful lot. There's an awful lot of parking here that's usually open. And again, it shows that northeast quadrant of Garrison Park. And this also shows the quadrant here, the opening coming in with the wall of memory to identify the wars that we fought, and then also the different flags for each service branch, and again, the monuments that are identified for each one. These are the areas where each one of the names throughout the Verde Valley will be placed as to each of the service branches for individuals and their families. Again, this can be for anybody in the military, currently serving, past serving, or whatever that was honorably discharged or honorably serving. And then also families have the availability of writing their families' names who have served in that capacity. Again, this is another shot here that Jonathan drew up, and another rendition showing the American flag, the entranceway, county building up here, and then parking, etc. Another flag rendition. This is approximately a 65-foot pole flag. These are approximately 30-foot flags. Shows a pretty good idea of Garrison Park. This area up and through here is the actual kids park. Over here, this is actually the Ramada, and it would allow for the transition of people to move and wander through, as well as have kind of a nice area up and through here to reflect back. This is the front, looking to the front of the park according to the architectural renderings. Again, the same thing. Again, the front location, again, of a wall of the histories of the United States and the wars fought. This is just an idea of how the names will be placed on each one of the center monuments. And again, the same thing here. And with that, wanted to basically take the time to introduce individuals that are here. Keith Vogler, I'll go ahead and ask Keith if he can come up. And Keith can also take questions from anyone. Keith is the Marine Corps League representative and project coordinator. Jonathan Shook is from CADWorks Studio, architectural draftsman. Luke Sefton is here tonight, and Luke is with Sefton Engineering. And then Dave Blauer, which is marketing and fundraising of the Durango, Kingman, and Sedona Military Memorial Parks. James Iocavaci, lawenforcementcreations.org, is not here tonight, but he's been part of the group. Terry Frankel is here, one of the Doublemint twins from the 1960s, performed the Vietnam USO tours, and is also writer, producer, and singer. John Maddox wasn't able to be here tonight either, or you would have already heard him back there. Larry Stover, VFW, and I know also Sam DiGiovanni's here, and Ron Luce was unable to make it. Paul Schreiber is here, Jim Strandy, and then Larry Stover. Okay, got it. So I'm going to go ahead and set up, because I know there was a 2-minute video that what we wanted to try to set up also, so let me see if I can do that.
Terry Franklin got a minute of video she wants to show here in just a moment. Richard has done an excellent job. Really been a big positive.
It's a project that's after his own patriotic heart.
Yes, ma'am. And I just want to reiterate, it's a military service park. You don't have to be dead to be in it. So that means that all of us that are sitting here now can be, veterans that are here now can be in it also. You don't have to die to be in it. So that's very important. The other part that I wanted to emphasize is that front wall. It's not been designed yet. We've had a real good idea from Paul. We have to look into how it's going to be done, but that's basically going to show some of the major conflict we've had and when it occurred. So that when we're right across the street from the schools, the school kids can come over if they, if the teacher would let them. They can kind of get an idea what the history of the United States might be. This is going to be a pay-as-you-go project, all right? We may come back and ask for some money, but we're not doing that tonight. What we just want is approval to just go ahead. We're going to be paying as we go. None of us have credit cards, and none of us have a second mortgage on our homes or anything like that. So we're going to be, it may take 2 to 3 years, we think this project is going to be. We've already had about $20,000 to $30,000 in donations, in-kind donations, not cash. We've got Luke back here, Sefton, with Sefton Engineering. We've got Jonathan Schock from CADWorks. They've done an excellent job, and they're just getting started. So in-kind donations are an important part of this project. Okay. What else? I think that's about it. I just want to hope that y'all would approve this, letting us go ahead in this project. And we're going to be going around to different businesses in town. Well, the other thing I wanted to emphasize, Richard said Verde Valley. Okay, it's going to be located in Cottonwood, we hope, but it's for the Verde Valley. I mean, if somebody's in Camp Verde or Jerome or Rimrock or wherever, if they can show us that they were honorably, if you were discharged under honorable conditions, that's all we ask. We'll put your name up there. If somebody doesn't have the funds to do it, we'll subsidize it. Okay, that's not going to be an important thing, but we hope to be able to raise enough funds and put them into a bucket so that we will have the funds when we need them to put the flags up, to subsidize somebody that doesn't have the funds to put their name up in the center. Okay?
Questions, Mr. Pratt?
No, I just have a comment. It's kind of neat that the first item on our agenda tonight is a no-brainer. We take pride in Cottonwood of being a veterans-friendly city. This would be a great thing for Cottonwood, for the Verde Valley, and I like the fact that it can be used as an educational exhibit too. So I appreciate all your work on it, and I think it would be really important to our community, and of course Richard did maybe a little bit. But I just think it's a great thing, and I think we ought to really consider going ahead with this.
Thank you for your support, Vice Mayor.
I'm in trouble when it comes to the names. I had 2 sons and a daughter in the Army. One son still in. He's a sergeant major after 26 years. 2 Marine Corps, grandson and granddaughter. My husband was in the Air Force and 2 daughters in the Air Force. My husband was also in the Navy and a daughter in the Navy and a nephew in the Coast Guard. Wow. And all but the Coast Guard are from the Verde Valley.
There's our start.
Start etching.
And we have a Vietnam veteran, Councilmember Howdigi, and he also lost a brother in Vietnam. So we appreciate his service very much.
Go ahead and start this.
Thank you. Thank you.
Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, and honorable members of City Council. My name is Terry Frankel. I'm a 20-year resident of Sedona, Arizona. My own background is I was in Vietnam with USO with my twin sister in 1968, and I am also an associate member of the Sedona Marine Corps League. I was just honored with an award, the President's Award for Excellence in the Arts, presented by the Vietnam Veterans of America, 75th 5,000 strong, and the award was formally given to Bob Hope. And I am the honorary commander of the 944th Aeromedical Staging Squadron at Luke Air Force Base. When I tell you, I have tremendous respect for all of you. I think what you do in Cottonwood is just outstanding. And what you do for veterans is beyond. You support Jolene Pearson with the Veterans History Project. You give a luncheon for her every year, and all of those of us who have contributed to this very important Library of Congress endeavor. You build homes for wounded warriors. You just go above and beyond. And 2013 was a banner year for recognizing veterans. The city of Cottonwood hosted the Vietnam Veterans of America Welcome Home. And it touched so many of us, especially me having been there. But you hosted the traveling wall, and you had just a marvelous display of bikers, and everyone, you really went all out, and we so appreciate that. The reason it was a banner year is that also is the year that the Sedona Military Service Park was dedicated. And this park, the property was donated by Dave Blowert, who is very integrally involved in this wonderful project. And it honors every service, and the Army, Navy, Air Force, Marines, and Coast Guard. And to date, we have over 1,000 names on the walls of people who are very, very proud to have served and be recognized. I want to thank you very, very much for considering and doing this amazing project. I think it's going to be a lot of fun, and it's going to be very, very successful. So I thank you very much, and I hope you enjoy this 2-minute presentation that focuses on the dedication of the Sedona Military Service Park.
I should give council a little bit of an idea of what Cottonwood is also trying to accomplish here. There's no way you can hear, but again, there's just music playing in the background.
Oh, you have to music. You have to music.
Can you, what's that?
You have to music.
No, thank you.
Oh, no.
Can you turn it up?
Music is everything.
Hang on here, it's all the way up.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
Oh, no, it's Lee Greenwood.
Yes.
Take the microphone and put it on your mouth.
Oh, can you?
Oh, actually, that microphone, is it going to the television? Well, as long as TV can hear it.
Oh, there you go. Okay, trust me, it's great.
John Helvey.
Project will probably, I know the one in Sedona, Dave, took approximately three years. So we'll be looking at some time. And again, it's nothing magical or miracle that's going to happen right away. Again, it's going to be through the contributions as well as, basically the fees that will be charged that Keith was talking about. And the same similar circumstances here that you can see in the film footage, the dedication in Sedona. There are approximately 936 veterans, I think, in the Verde Valley area. I think it's something like that. And
thanks, Luke.
We thought that, of course, the Coast Guard one would have Hezekiah Allen's name on it. So I think Hez is in the back. So he might be the only one, I don't know, especially here in Arizona. But with that, I just...
Mike's.
Oh, I'm sorry. With that, I've got a pretty loud voice anyway. We just wanted to make that presentation to council to identify this is the direction that we would like to proceed, and whatever council would like. If there are any other questions, I know there's plenty of individuals here to answer questions.
I would just like to thank Dave Blauert for working with the team, and he's got the experience of one in Colorado. Was that Grand Junction? Durango. Okay, Durango, Colorado. He started a park and really had a lot to do with the Sedona Park also, and he's working with our team, which is fantastic. We appreciate him. So I wanted to say thank you specifically to Dave. And then I want the council to know that I did meet with Supervisor Chip Davis. We wanted to be sure that the county was okay with this, because it's so close to their parking, and he said yes, that was a good project. And also, the team has notified me that they want a very tall flag, the American flag. As you could see, it was way high, and so we may have to discuss a conditional use permit or something of that type, and we know that their engineer will be very sure that it will be secure and safe, but that is all something that may be proposed later. But I just wanted to give you all a heads up as to the email I received and passed on to Barron. So are there any more questions or comments from the City Council? Okay, Mr. Linsky?
I think it's a perfect location for it. I think it's a perfect project.
All right.
Do we need a motion on this?
Please.
Okay. I'd like to make a motion to designate a section of Garrison Park to be used to create a military service park.
Second.
So Councilmember Howdigi made the motion, and Vice Mayor Pfeiffer seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you very much for being here tonight.
I'm gonna go broke.
You want to what?
I'm gonna go broke putting names on those things.
Thank you all. Now I would also like to move up our last item, number 5. We have Dennis Edwards here tonight, and he drove over from Prescott Valley, and it would sure be nice if they could get on their way home and not have to sit here too much longer tonight. So number 5 is ordinance number 612, renewal of Cable One's cable TV license. It's the first reading, and were you going to introduce?
I can do that, Madam.
Okay, so Mr. Horton will introduce this item.
Without belaboring the matter, this simply allows, and as council recalls, we amended the code to allow us to charge a 5% license fee, similar to our neighboring communities, and that was in anticipation of this renewal and license agreement. And this simply allows Cable One to continue providing cable service in the city, and for another 10-year period, and establishes the terms and conditions of doing that. And this is the first reading of the ordinance that allows us to do that.
Okay, any questions from the council? And any comments?
Mr. Edwards wants
Mr.
to
Edwards?
anything?
Madam Mayor, Vice Mayor, and City Council, I don't have a presentation. I basically always attend the first reading and sometimes the second to see if there are any questions. I've been working closely with city staff since about December, I believe, going through this, as I did 10 years ago. I've been in Arizona for 14 years. I've been with the company for 38, so my wife decided to join me tonight. She's never been to a council meeting with me before. I think she really wanted to see if I actually attended one of these things. So I brought her along just to see what the proceeding was about. But really, I'm here to answer any questions you might have. We've been extremely busy over the last 12 months. We're going to be extremely busy for the rest of 2015 to continue to upgrade our facilities and bring greater, faster speeds that everybody yearns for, it seems, these days.
So my only complaint is that I live in the city limits, but I live in Verde Village, so I can't get Cable One, and I really wished I could because you are known as the best and the best speeds, and so I'm happy that you're in the rest of Cottonwood, but I sure wished you could be in all of Cottonwood.
If I could have been around when Verde Villages started, it may have been differently, but I unfortunately wasn't here.
I know.
When that was started, so, you know, how that little swath got carved out, I don't have the history on that.
And there's lots of legalities to where you can serve. I understand all of that. Any questions from the other members of the council? No. Okay.
Madam Mayor and Council, just as a heads up, during the second reading, we'll also at the same time, Cable One has submitted an application for the city's consent to approval of a corporate spinoff. It'll have no effect on the city or its customers, but it's something that'll come to you, and it's a huge package of materials that Matt scanned and will be part of your next packet, which may be a record-breaking packet.
We might have to upgrade our cable for that.
We might need more data capacity for this one, but that'll be coming before you too.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments from members of the public on this item?
Madam Mayor?
Yes.
I would just add that Mr. Edwards and Cable One are really great partners to work with. They've been very cooperative. Dennis has been keeping me up to speed on their conversion to go completely to high definition, and so they really are a good group to work with. And
maybe I'll have to move
into the city.
Yeah, where I can get Cable One.
You know, the other thing, as kind of a side note that I'd like to recognize Cable One for is way back in our infancy, as Matt Force was developed and we were dealing with methamphetamines, Cable One got on board and provided, to date, they're still on board, literally hundreds of thousands of dollars of free advertising on their stations to educate people about the dangers of substance abuse. So I'd like to thank them for that too. It really is incredible.
Mm-hmm. And they also host our government channel, the
Absolutely.
VerdeValleyTV.com. So we appreciate that. Also provides a great service to the citizens of Cottonwood.
Thank you.
And Clarkdale and wherever else you serve throughout the Verde Valley, I think.
Clarkdale, Cornville, Page Springs.
Yeah. Pretty much the upper Verde Valley, except for me.
Just going to rub that in until she gets paid.
I totally understand. So there's, if no one has any other questions or comments, this is the first reading, so there's no vote tonight. City Clerk, please read ordinance number 612, Deputy Clerk. Read ordinance 612, renewal of Cable One's cable TV license, and it's the first reading.
Ordinance number 612, an ordinance of the mayor and city council of the city of Cottonwood, Arizona, renewing Cable One Inc.'s non-exclusive license to construct, install, and operate lines, wires, coaxial cable, and appurtenances for originating, receiving, distributing, and supplying radio, television, and other cable communication services along, across, and upon the public streets, ways, alleys, and places within the city of Cottonwood, Arizona for another 10-year period pursuant and subject to Cable One's compliance with Chapter 5.12 of the Cottonwood Municipal Code and its approval, execution, and compliance with a certain license agreement therefore. Madam Mayor.
Can you do that again?
Yeah, excellent job. Okay, so moving on to the next item. And thank you very much for hanging out with us for a long time tonight. Okay, the next item, I believe, is called to the public. Yep. The portion of the agenda is set aside for the public to address the council regarding an item that is not listed on the agenda for discussion. However, the council cannot engage in discussion regarding any item that is not officially listed on the agenda for discussion and/or action. Per ARS 38-431-02, comments are limited to a 5-minute time period. Are there any forms filled out? Are there any members of the public who wish to speak tonight? If not, we'll close the floor to the public and move on to the approval of minutes of the regular meeting of April 7th, 2015. I read them and they were excellent. Sound to me?
Approve the minutes.
Okay.
Second.
So Councilmember Jesse Dowling made the motion. Councilmember Elinsky seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Comments regarding items listed on the agenda are limited to a 5-minute time period per speaker. Consent agenda. The following items are considered to be routine and non-controversial by the council and will be approved by one motion. There will be no separate discussion of these items unless a council member or a citizen so requests, in which case the item will be removed from the consent agenda and considered in its normal sequence on the agenda. Item number 1 is new liquor license application submitted by Jeannie E. Tennant, applicant for Riot in Old Town, located at 77 North Main Street. Item number 2 is application for extension of premises liquor license permit submitted by Tamara L. Morgan for That Brewing Company located at 300 East Cherry Street for an event scheduled for May 16, 2015. Item number 3 is extension of the intergovernmental agreement with the Yavapai Apache Nation for transportation services. Item number 4 is agreements with APS for street light pole use, maintenance, and energy. Is there anyone from council who wants to pull an item for discussion? Is there any member from the public who would like to pull an item for discussion? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
I move to approve the consent agenda.
I'll second.
Councilmember Pratt made the motion. Councilmember Garrison seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. New business. The following items are for council discussion, consideration, and possible legal action. Item number 2 is creation of 7 new communication specialist positions for the Emergency Services Communications Center. We have Commander Eisenga and the supervisor or manager Marie, and for some reason the last is just not there, although I know it well. Carpenter. Sometimes the mind just goes blank on something you know very well. So we also discussed this item in depth at a work session, I believe on the 14th. But I believe that the commander and Ms. Carpenter are going to go into a little bit of detail on it, just so the public, especially our television public, will be able to understand what we discussed in great detail at the work session. Commander.
Madam Mayor, members of the council, Commander Gary Eisenga of Cottonwood PD, here with Marie Carpenter, our communications manager. As you're aware, the Sedona Fire District, if you want to actually go to the next slide, has decided to cease their communications operations. They'll be doing that as soon as we can transition to dispatch for them. So they did contact us and asked if they could subscribe with us for dispatching services, and we're currently working with them to transition those services. Along with that is, we'll move into the PSAP, Public Safety Answering Point. The Cottonwood Public Safety Communication Center is the primary PSAP for areas served by the Verde Valley Fire District and most of the areas served by Sedona and Montezuma-Rimrock. Again, the Sedona PD is still looking at becoming primary PSAP for the city of Sedona. They did recently ask us to be their backup, which we agreed to do should they become the primary. We don't know what's going on with the mayor. We still have not heard what's going on with the mayor fire district. And Camp Verde Marshal's office maintains their own PSAP. So we're looking at the dates to do this. We're looking at getting dispatching services started for the Verde Valley Fire District on July 1st, Camp Verde Fire District, Montezuma Rimrock on August 1st, and then Sedona Fire District on September 1st. So in doing so, we are requesting the addition of 7 full-time communication specialists. We've gone through several different staffing calculators, and we've determined that we would need 7 individuals for 24/7 coverage for this position. And that would give us 4 dispatchers per shift, a call taker, a PD dispatcher, and then 2 fire dispatchers. The second fire dispatcher would be a secondary call taker as well. Then the evaluation of our supervisory span of control would warrant that of those 70 positions, one of those would be a supervisory position. And then our subscriber fees that we would be collecting from these different subscribers. And again, currently we have Sedona Fire District that's approached us, Verde Valley Fire District, Camp Verde, Montezuma Rimrock. Yes, those in.
And those costs would cover our employee costs and our operational expenses.
So can you speak up a little?
The subscriber agencies, they would cover the employee costs and the operational expenses for the new employees.
So that would be pensions and everything.
Yes, ma'am. The employee costs of $352,000 are their salaries and EREs, employment-related expenses.
Employment, such as health insurance,
Correct.
Pensions, all of those
Yes,
things. Mr. Pratt.
Yeah, a couple of questions. We are guaranteed then right now the $713,520. And that's going to more than cover our employee costs. That's pretty much guaranteed. We can figure we're going to get that 713.
That's correct.
The other question is, if those call volumes go up, will our subscriber fees then go up?
That's correct. Right now, we're looking at $60 per call, and the idea is that we would monitor these calls for the first couple of years, and then we would probably just set a base level. And then part of the IGA is that we have the ability to increase costs. It's a two-year IGA, and then after the first year, we're able to increase costs if necessary, up to 5%.
Okay. The other thing is, when we did invest in building a communication center, I think it was with the idea that we would eventually become the regional communication center.
Right,
So
well,
this-
we tried to make it a partnership.
And it seems like we will be fulfilling that desire, the intentions that we had at the time. So I think this is a good idea.
Within the first 6 months.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Well, I think it is an excellent center, and different communities have, as I understand it, come over and looked at the center and evaluated it and are impressed with the ability of the center to cover their services in a very competent manner. So,
Once again, Cottonwood serves the Verde Valley.
yes.
And beyond.
Yes. We're happy to be regional partners.
It truly is a model, excuse
Pardon me?
It truly is a model 911 communication center. We've gotten a lot of requests from other communities asking about our project and our design to look to for future plans.
Can you explain once again, just to update us and to let the folks in the public know, you all have taken training, and you're like one of 8 in the nation for some of the training that you have?
Actually, it's a direction that we're headed.
Okay.
We've all become certified by the International Academies of Emergency Dispatch in all 3 disciplines, police, fire, and medical. And our goal is to attain the certification of being accredited in all 3 disciplines. And currently there are only 8 agencies nationwide or internationally that have attained accreditation in all 3 disciplines, and it is a goal that we've set for ourselves.
So I'm very proud of you, and I know the council is too, for that goal and for working on attaining it. It's just really amazing. And I'm just really thrilled about it. I'm very proud. So I had to bring it up again.
Thank you.
Okay, so any comments from anyone in the public? Or questions or comments from council members who have, this is the second time we've heard this. Mr. Pratt?
I'll make a motion.
Would you please?
I move to establish 7 new full-time communication specialist positions to meet the minimum staffing needs for the additional anticipated call load that will be created by at least 4 new subscribing agencies. Somebody had a typo in there that threw me off for a minute.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Pratt made the motion, the vice mayor seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
And Madam Mayor, just for the council's information, all 4 of our new subscribers have the same attorney, so we've ironed out a subscriber agreement that's very similar to the one we have with our current subscribers. So that'll be nice for the city and the council. We'll have a uniform agreement.
Great.
And not have to negotiate separate agreements with different subscribers.
Wonderful. Thank you for your work on that. I know you've done a lot also. Okay, so.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you, folks.
Item number 3 is creation of a new Public Works Manager position and job description, and we have Morgan Scott with us this evening.
Madam Mayor, members of the council. I think most of you are aware Howard Harkey, our Public Works Maintenance Superintendent, retired last fall, and we have been kicking around ideas since then on how we wanted to adjust and handle that position. Obviously, we've gone through some changes in the last couple of years, and we're looking now at, obviously we've added quite a few facilities, and we're cutting back a little bit on projects. So we wanted to look at how is that going to impact our employment status. So we looked at how can we massage these positions rather than just kind of blindly hiring a new position. What talents do we have on board? Council has already approved a few months ago the Public Works foreman, which took on a lot of the field duties of Howard Harkey's the superintendent position. So now he's out in the field working some of the field duties. This Public Works manager would take on some of those administrative duties that was formerly handled by the superintendent, as well as oversee the project management portion of Public Works. I do want to emphasize we are not getting rid of the project manager. We would like to keep that position in place. If any positions are lost at Public Works, it will probably be either a inspector and or a CAD designer drafter, depending on who moves up within the department. So I do want to emphasize it's not necessarily that we're getting rid of the project management. I know a lot of people were worried, hey, we still got projects around. Are we keeping that project management position? However, with the massaging we've done within the department, this would result in a savings of nearly $70,000 a year. I believe in the staff report I said over 50. Our finance department has since confirmed it's over $70,000 a year.
Mr. Ulinsky?
When you say that we'll lose a position, you mean lose it through attrition?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Basically, so we're not moving someone at the top. People will move up, and depending on who moves up, I can't tell you which position that will be.
Okay. So if we lose like our drafter, wouldn't that be, well, we might still have that person on staff that could still do those chores?
Also, we've looked at the project management position. The project management job description includes drafting because it was originally, when it was created, it includes drafting. So
okay.
If that's the position that's lost, we may be able to absorb it within the project management.
So any questions from council members?
No questions per se, but I do know that I would like to say that I've worked with, not on the council, I've worked with that division and all the people in there. I think that they're doing a great job at managing things.
Thank you. From somebody in the know.
And Madam Mayor, I'll just add that the $70,000 savings, we'll be looking this next year to try and rehire one of our grounds maintenance positions that we lost during the recession, to try and put more focus on some of our park areas and trying to get those really looking pristine.
And I'd like to thank the city manager, who has really, as positions have gone away and come back, he's really examined how to conserve funding and how to do the best work we can with really the leanest staff still, because we haven't pulled out of our economic challenges. And so I just want to say I appreciate you for analyzing these situations and coming up with these kinds of solutions. Okay, so I would entertain a motion.
I'll make the motion. I move to authorize the creation of a new position and job description for a public works manager as recommended by staff.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Dowling made the motion, Mr. Elinsky seconded it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you.
Thank you.
Item number 4 is consideration of approving a 1 hour of paid time off for city staff the days they commute to work on their bicycles during National Bike to Work Week, May 11th through 15th, 2015. We have Mr. Hezekiah Allen, who's the last one on the agenda tonight and has a brand new baby at home.
Yes.
So we're so sorry we kept you away from your brand new baby.
That's okay. That's okay. Thanks for your time tonight, Madam Mayor and Council. We have a great opportunity here, a collaboration between 2 different entities within the city, the Wellness Team and the Bicycle Awareness Committee, both striving to provide healthy opportunities for staff. With this opportunity, we kind of was built off of Bicycle Awareness Month and Bike to Work Week. There's a stat that states that majority of employers or employees throughout the nation live within 5 miles of their home or work within 5 miles of their home. So commuting to work is not out of the question. We've seen a 65% increase nationwide of bicycle commuters. With that, communities are embracing this culture as it produces vast positive local attributes such as less traffic, pollution, economic stimulus, and equates to a healthy, vibrant community. In your council packet, we cited Memphis, Tennessee, and the strides they had made through embracing the bicycle culture, which runs along with arts, culture, special events, that kind of stuff. A lot of the organization that's really led this movement is the American Bicyclist Coalition, which was established in 1956. And basically what the BAC and the Wellness Team is requesting from Council is to authorize during Bike to Work Week, if an employee rides their bicycle to work, to allow them 1 hour of basically kind of flex time. So if I ride my bicycle to work, I can take it in the morning or I can take it in the evening so that I can get home, still get my family, and to promotes the culture of riding your bicycle to work, which we will see the healthy opportunities on the other side with hopefully lower insurance premiums and facts such as that.
Mr. Pratt.
I would say this is another no-brainer. I don't see why we wouldn't approve this. We're, again, taking pride in being a bike-friendly city, and I think we're at the silver level now, are we?
We're bronze working on silver.
Bronze working on silver. This would be a step towards working on silver. So, yeah, this one, to me, it's a no-brainer.
I agree. Mr. Dowling, do you have any comments? You're Mr. Bicycle himself.
I've fallen off the bike for about the last month, so.
But you're going to ride on May 2nd, right?
We'll see how that goes yet. I'm still trying to work out the details.
Twist his arm.
And Mr. Elinsky's probably going to ride on May 2nd, I would guess. You're putting that on your calendar, 9 a.m., Garrison Park?
Yep. Actually, yeah, I will commit to that, because, yeah,
okay.
I should be there.
I had a couple questions. So if an employee city employee rides their bike to work, they'll get paid for 8, but they will work 7. Is that how that? Okay.
Correct.
Okay.
Any comments, questions, suggestions? So I would entertain a motion for this item.
I move to approve 1 hour of paid time off for city staff who commute to work on their bicycles to be used on the matching day of their travels during National Bike to Work Week.
Second.
Councilmember Pratt made the motion. The Vice Mayor seconded it. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed?
I'm opposed to, if I could just explain why I'm opposed.
Okay.
I think it's a great concept, and I obviously am a big supporter of bicycles. Have commuted by bike myself every opportunity I can, but I think it's a great concept if it were a private business, a hospital, or another large employer. But because we're a city, we run on tax dollars, I can't quite justify spending taxpayers' money to allow folks to work 7 but get paid for 8. So that's where I'm coming from with that. But I applaud the efforts, and I wish that there was more time to get some sponsorships or something, in line from other business leaders that would want to try to step up and support. But I don't mean to not support the bicycle community, but that's where I'm coming from with my vote. So.
And that's definitely one ideological, Councilmember Liskey. The other thought is that we're trendsetters as the city of Cottonwood, and hopefully businesses throughout the Verde Valley see this and say, why don't we do this? Why don't we invest in this culture? The city did.
Yep.
And I want to comment on that. I appreciate Councilmember Elinsky's concern about that, and I understand and support him in his opinion, but I do have to say I disagree. And that is because the taxpayers pay a lot of health insurance for city employees, and we're trying to get them on their bikes. And in the long run, we're going to save a lot of money if we can get people to exercise, ride their bikes, eat right. And so therefore, I understand and support your thoughts, but just don't agree. So let's see, let's see. So we had the motion passed with 1 dissent, which has been recorded. So thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Hez.
Yep.
Okay, so we have claims and adjustments, and I'm going to get home by 9. Yay.
I move to pay the claims.
I'll second that. The Vice Mayor made the motion to pay the claims. The Mayor seconded it. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. I move to adjourn.
Second.
The Mayor made the motion. Councilmember Garrison seconded it. We're adjourned.
Thank you, Mayor.